Hey, I'm Josh Nelson. I'm the Director of Applied Performance here at Baylor University. Today we're going to continue with our series of increasing the impact of our teaching and coaching, and more importantly, providing feedback that's going to improve our performance over time. So today what we're going to look at is a couple different types of observation and a couple different types of feedback. Okay, and then we're going to look at it in different types of contexts, whether it's a classroom setting or various field settings. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is general observation versus specific observation. General observation is basically, I'm a coach, I'm a teacher, I'm in the corner of a room, I'm in the corner of a weight room or the field, and I can see everything. I'm basically looking out across the field, making sure everything is good, making sure everything is running smoothly. No one is getting hurt, there's no safety things that are popping up, the weather is good, I'm taking care of everything. Everything is operating smoothly. I don't necessarily have to worry about anything going wrong. Okay, I'm not necessarily providing a lot of coaching, however. I'm not teaching much. I'm not providing instruction. I'm basically just trouble checking, making sure everything is good to go. That's going to take place where, let's say I'm a solo coach and I have a team of 30, 40 people. More than likely, the majority of my time is going to be spent in general observation. Now, the flip side of that is specific observation. Let's take a small group. Let's say I'm in the weight room. I have 3 to 4 people on a rack, and I'm talking to them about specifics regarding a squat, different types of pulls, maybe a press or a back movement. Okay, that right there where it's a little bit closer, I'm very proximal to the athlete. I have the ability to talk to them one-on-one and provide constructive feedback regarding their performance. That is going to be more specific. So the key thing here, there's two. General versus specific is the proximity. If I'm very far away from an athlete, okay, I can't necessarily provide the feedback. Okay, if I'm much more close and I have a very proximal location to an athlete, maybe it's a squat rack like we talked about, maybe it's a location on the field, that's going to be much more specific. Okay, then also, along with these, we'll talk about in a second, is the feedback in which we give. When we're in general observation, we can't really give feedback specific to performance. We can encourage a lot and we can kind of motivate and make sure everything is operating, but we can't really provide critical feedback. Okay? In specific observation, we can provide a very, very more detailed form of instruction. We can teach, we can provide feedback, but we can't see the group. Okay? So us as coaches, us as teachers, more importantly, no matter what kind of field setting we're in, we need to be able to have a careful balance between these two. So let's look at here on our field. This is maybe a classroom setting right here. Let's say I'm lecturing and I'm talking right here. If I'm in the front of the classroom or I'm moving from side to side, more than likely I'm going to be in general observation. Okay, so if I'm in this vantage point right here, I can basically see the entire classroom. Okay, obviously on the perimeter over here I'm a little bit far away, but I can see what's going on in my classroom. Okay. On the flip side of that, I can't necessarily provide this student with a lot of feedback regarding their performance. Okay. Now, let's go to specific observation in this case. Let's say I am moving up the aisle and I see this person needs help. I can provide one-on-one instruction here. I can also provide one-on-one instruction to people that are very proximal to me. Okay, that becomes a little bit more specific in regard to the observation that I'm providing. Now, the issue there is if I'm right here and I'm looking at these desks right here and I'm talking, engaging with them, as positive as that is for them, I'm leaving all the other desks in danger of kind of not being on task, not performing the right exercise, or if we're in a dynamic setting like a field or a weight room, it could leave them susceptible to something bad happening. Okay, so now let's take that to the weight room. In this case right here, with these being the racks, general observation may put me in this position, or one of the wings. Okay, maybe I'm standing in an elevated position, but I can see the entire room. It doesn't matter what's going on. I see as many bars as I can. I see bars moving. Okay, to provide specific observation, I may move from this position, we'll call that position A, to maybe position B, and then quickly provide instruction, back out, move to position C. Okay, especially if I'm a single coach in a setting like this, oftentimes weight rooms are somewhat constricted. I need to be moving. I need to be moving the entire time. Move from position A to B, maybe over here to D, back to C. Look, see what's going on, provide instruction, back out. Okay, be able to go back and forth from general to specific. Is my room safe? Are my athletes good? Are we progressing as a unit, as a team? Then give some individual, then get back out. Okay, same thing is going to be the case on these different fields. Okay, so if I'm coaching a position group down here on the 5-yard line, I can't really provide a lot of instruction down here on the other side numbers. Okay, so I have to have the ability to move around if I'm in that lead coach position. Okay, if I'm working an individual group, let's say I got some wide receivers or some defensive backs down here, I'm now in specific observation. I can provide feedback to what they're doing. Let's take a baseball field or a softball field example. Same thing holds true. If I'm coaching right down here, I can't really tell my third baseman too much. Okay, I need to be in a position where I can give them feedback. The biggest thing going back to observation is 1, the proximity to the athletes you're coaching, and 2, the feedback at what you give them. All right, let's move to feedback here a little bit. We'll go quick over this. There's a couple different types: encouragement, positive feedback, and corrective or critical feedback. And the big thing about those, encouragement is basically what's going to be taking place in general observation. Hey, let's go, pick up the tempo. Hey, you got 2 minutes, let's go, we gotta go. Hey, good job, let's go, we gotta do better. That's encouragement. Okay, it's not really providing too much teaching cues to it. It's not giving a lot of feedback. It's essentially what it's called. It's encouraging athletes. Okay, this can be done in either specific or general observation. Okay, positive feedback. Positive feedback is feedback that is given to increase or continue the current set of behaviors. Okay, that can also be done in either one of these two, in a small group, a big group, whatever it may be, but it can be in both forms of observation. But positive feedback, let's say I got an athlete and they hit a ball to right field and we're working hit and run. I say, that's exactly what we want it to do. Make sure we sit back, drive it to the opposite side. Okay, that cue right there, that positive feedback is going to encourage the athlete to continue to make those habits. Okay, let's take an on-the-field example. Hey, great job cutting off. Great leverage on that athlete playing defense. Okay, that will encourage future occurrences of that behavior when we're talking about leverage, positioning, and footwork. Okay, the last form is corrective feedback. Opposite of positive feedback, corrective feedback is information that we're going to give, feedback that we're going to give, cues that we're going to give to discourage the previous behavior, okay, or reduce that previous behavior. You could say, let's say I'm shooting a basketball, and I'd be like, hey, we really need to make sure we follow through a little bit better, okay? You didn't follow through. In this case right here, when we're talking critical feedback, a wonderful opportunity too is to use the sandwich method. Hey, that's a good opportunity right there. We need to increase our follow through, but that was a really good effort. Let's pick it up next time. Okay, so what we're trying to do is to create a positive environment, a positive words there for our athlete, but fix what just happened. Okay, so corrective feedback, real quick, one more time, is basically working to discourage what just happened. Okay, so if I'm an infielder and I'm watching, or if I'm a coach coaching some infielders and I see some infielders get back on their heels, be like, man, we got to go through the ball. You got to shape the ground ball, you got to get around it, but you got to go through the ball to attack it a little bit more. Okay, that's discouraging what just happened by sitting back, but that's also providing them the ability to be creative in what they're doing. Okay, so in review today, what we talked about was some general observation, which is basically trouble checking, seeing the whole room, being a manager. Specific observation, I am watching an athlete, I'm watching a student with specific intent to fix or improve their behavior. I am proximal to them, and I'm providing them cues, instruction that's going to improve their behavior. Okay? In these types of classrooms and field settings, you can see that location really matters. Okay? If I am in the infield area, I cannot coach my center fielder very well. Okay? If I'm in this field setting, whether it's a soccer, field hockey, football, whatever type of field sport we're in, if I'm on one sideline or one end zone inline, I cannot coach the other inline. Okay? I need to be proximal if I'm providing that type of feedback. Same thing in a classroom. With feedback, encouragement is basically just rallying the troops, providing, hey, let's go, good job. Small cues that doesn't really lead to too much behavior change. positive feedback, anything that I can say that's going to increase that behavior to continue to happen. And then corrective or critical feedback, cues that I'm providing, instruction I'm providing that's going to limit those behaviors. Okay, so we're going to continue talking about some of these things, these instructional strategies on how we can improve the way that we as coaches talk. You know, there's a lot of things out there. We're not necessarily talking about tactics. We're not talking X's and O's or even technique. We're talking about delivery. How can we shape our lessons, shape the words that we talk to best touch our athletes? Appreciate it.